my name is Princess. It would be fun to do a video about how to be extraordinary. This concept is something that has stuck with me ever since I was a little kid, and since I'm on the journey of becoming extraordinary, I thought it would be fun to talk to you all about things that I do, some tips that I have, and hopefully just do like a really chill girl talk. I kind of wish I lit a candle to get into the vibe, but I might forget to blow it out, so we're just gonna leave it how it is. But the first tip that I have in becoming extraordinary is defining what extraordinary means to you, or what being extraordinary means to you. I feel like everyone has their own perception of this phrase and what it means to be the best version of themselves, and it gets thrown out all the time. However, I've created my own definition of being extraordinary, and it essentially means just doing more good in the world and just being the best version of myself, and that can take place in so many different things. So if you feel connected with this concept of being extraordinary, I hope that you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel, because I do fashion videos, girl talk videos, lifestyle system videos, anything to help you be a better version of yourself. And I also am thinking of doing a separate faith video, so if you want to see something like that, let me know. So once you've defined what extraordinary means to you, I'm going to talk about a lot of mindset shifts that you need in order to be extraordinary. So the first thing is understanding that in order to be extraordinary, you have to do extraordinary things. That quote just came to me when I was younger, and I thought I was a genius, and then I realized so many other people had been saying it, and I was dang, I thought I was onto something, but it is so true. In order to be extraordinary, you have to do extraordinary things. You cannot be extraordinary doing the same thing as everyone else, because by definition, then you would be ordinary. You have to wake up early. You have to set routines that you truly believe in. You have to read books. You have to be organized. There's so many things, and this is not a video for everyone who's oh my gosh, people have so many demands and I just want to be me and I just don't want to challenge myself. This video is not for that type of person. This video is for someone who truly wants to be the best version of yourself and just wants something to strive for, to be the best mother that they can be, the best sister, the best daughter, the best friend, the best girlfriend. Be the best version of themselves, not just for themselves but for others, so that they can serve others in the best way possible. So something that I am in the process of doing, and I kind of have struggled with it, but I recommend doing it just because I feel every time I do it, I notice a benefit, and it is to journal or brain dump for 15 minutes a day, or journal for 15 minutes a week. Now, I struggle with the day one, but I do try to journal once a week. I do try to have some sort of opportunity where I'm just writing my thoughts down, and I feel that is a good way to start writing down your ideas of if I were extraordinary, these are the things I would do. Emphasizing the things that would help you be a better version of yourself. I mentioned this in one of my other videos, to do journaling, and that's how you become an it girl, but also to become an extraordinary version of yourself, it requires you to have these mindset shifts, and it requires you to journal the habits of what it takes to actually be extraordinary. The next tip, these are notes that I literally took when I was with my life coach, so that's why they're kind of all over the place. Next tip that I have is, in the process of doing the right thing or challenging yourself in any capacity, something that you have some sort of dilemma, remind yourself that it can get worse. And I feel that sounds so negative and pessimistic, but sometimes when I am in a moment where I'm just maybe going on a downward spiral, I'm what's the worst thing that can happen? It can't get much worse than this. But every single time that you are not actively trying to do better for yourself, you are by default making things worse, because the odds of staying stagnant are just very slim. So if you're constantly falling short of your goals, you are making it worse, and you're making it harder for yourself in the future. And this is not to look at life with a very pessimistic lens, but it is to remind yourself that when you do something productive, it actually does make your life better. It does make you feel better. It helps you accomplish more, and you will feel so much better in the future by like challenging yourself. The next tip that I have is to make sure that you feel good about your choices. Now, I'm the type of person, I really struggle with making decisions. Like, I really struggle with making decisions, but I have learned through like coaching and counseling to make choices that I'm genuinely excited about, that give me peace, that I'm just like, okay, this feels like it's aligned with me, and it helps me feel like, okay, I am going to be a better person. I feel like I'm going to be a better person because the choices all just kind of flow together. Whenever you're at a dilemma or a standstill and you're like, what choice should I make? Should I go home? Should I go to the gym? Should I cook dinner? Should I eat out? Ask yourself what choice genuinely aligns with the person that you want to be. I know it's like, oh my gosh, here we go. This is such a cliche tip, but once you start doing that and like intentionally asking yourself these questions, over time, you're going to start making more choices that align with you because it's just going to be a very natural process. Next tip that I have, and it's kind of like a mantra. Now, this is kind of like being a better extraordinary, but like these are things that I really had to do to become extraordinary. And it was remind myself everything that I do, if I intentionally make a decision, if I intentionally go in with the thought process that I am going to learn from this, no matter what I do, I'm going to learn from it. It is not a waste. It's going to be worth it. Then it makes the process a lot easier. For example, I'm trying to grow my social media, my Instagram, my TikTok, and because I'm trying to grow as a brand, like an influencer, and I've often struggled because I'm like, okay, but what's the point? Like, it's not growing as fast. I'm not an overnight sensation. Like, it's not moving how I want it to move. Like, what's the point? Why should I keep trying? And I realized just by trying, I'm learning. As long as I'm learning, I'm making progress. Like I was saying earlier, I'm not stuck. I'm actually moving to the next level. And every single day that I get an opportunity to learn is a blessing. And then I can continue to try the next time and the next time, etc., etc. Another tip that I have in terms of being extraordinary is understanding the why is important, especially if you're in a situation where, like, for example, you have mental health issues or you're in an abusive relationship. Like, understanding the why you're not being the best version of yourself, that is important. However, I have a habit of getting stuck in the why, so much so that I'm paralyzed in trying to solve the why, and it prevents me from actually acting. So I would say the action, sometimes you just have to say, you know what, I don't know why right now, but I need to start moving. I need to start pursuing and acting. That is something that used to hold me back all the time. But once I learned, like, let's just take a step, just one step at a time. It just reminds me of someone who's like in like really thick sand and they just gradually push one foot in front of the other to get out of it. That is kind of how I see life, which is like, yes, the why is important, but let's focus on how to genuinely move. And by doing so, I felt like I've made a lot of progress in my life because I wasn't so stuck on like, why did I do this? Why did this happen? Blah, blah, because that can create like thought thinking traps for me. And I feel like it's just something that you just have to act. The next tip that I have, again, this is a mindset shift, and it is the fact that you have to remind yourself you are capable of fixing it. You are capable of fixing any problem. You are not stuck. I feel like I have this problem all the time. When I make a bad decision, I'm like, well, my whole life is over. I'm stuck. It's ruined. I cannot save it. You can fix problems. You can overcome. There are people who are like 60 years old getting a high score. I don't know if that's true, but there are people who are like 60 years old getting their bachelor's degree. It is not too late to go back to finish what you need to do. It is not too late to overcome some of the obstacles that you've experienced in life. Like, you are capable of fixing and solving any problem that comes your way. And because I am a Christian, I genuinely believe that when I pray, if it's something that is in alignment with what God wants for me, and I pray, I genuinely feel capable of overcoming it Or if I'm not, it's because God has something else for me to do. I have peace in knowing that, and I just go through life believing I can overcome any problem. It may not be the pretty way. I should have done it differently. I shouldn't have struggled or been like lustful or sinned, but I know that just because I did that, that doesn't mean that I'm stuck, and that doesn't mean that you're stuck either. Go get out your notebook, sit down, play some jazz music, play some self-help videos, and write down a solution to your problem and pray for guidance on how to fix it. Next, mindset. I guess this is just like mindset shifts on how to be extraordinary, and then I'll do a little bit more practical tips at the end. But the next thing that I want to say is remind yourself you do not want to get in your own way. You do not want to get in your own way. You are your teammate. It is you. You are a human being. I remember I was talking to my life coach and I was like, I know, but I want to be on time, but I don't know if I will. And she was like, but you're the one that makes that choice. So what do you mean you don't know? And I was like, yeah, but like, yeah, I don't know if I will, as if I was referring to someone else. You are not like, I know it may feel like you're two different people, and I know I struggle with that. But at the end of the day, you are one person. You have autonomy, the things that you can control, and you do not want to get in your own way. You do not want to be your own wall. You do not want to stay up late, mind you. It's like 11:46, but you do not want to stay up late to prevent yourself from waking up early. You don't want to party all weekend to prevent yourself from being late to school or being late to class, or, picking up your kids late, or whatever the case may be. You want to be on your team and remind yourself that you love yourself enough to help yourself be successful. Like, you are on your own team. It's your team, a team of you. And if you have a family, it's your family. Like, you just want to help yourself and your family go in the right direction. You do not want to be that like sabotaging like roadblock. So now that we got a lot of the mindset shifts, also I always have to recommend books that have changed my life. So I will recommend a few books. Of course, Feeling Good, but I also have to recommend Mindset. I want to say by Carol Dweck. I think I pronounced her name right. I'm sorry if I didn't. Atomic Habits by James Clear. And then if I think of any other books, I'll mention them as well. So now that you have like the mentality, you're journaling a little bit. So now I recommend focusing on your career. Now, the careers are so taboo for whatever reason nowadays, because everyone wants to tell you to like quit your job, and who hate, the 9-to-5s are so awful. And however, I am a firm believer of this. You should have a job that you love. Now, I know everyone's probably like, girl, please, like, I have fit kids to feed, I have a household, I cannot afford that. Okay. If you cannot have a job that you love, find a hobby, volunteer. You should be having some aspect of your life doing something that you love. And I know some people think, okay, that's impossible, that's ridiculous. I'm trying to tell you, if you do not have a job or do something that you love, you are wasting your life. Now, do not get me wrong, serving others is a blessing. So if you're doing some capacity of serving, then definitely continue to do that, because serving others is a blessing and you should love that, honestly. But I know that that's not always the case. But if you're not in a position to either serve and do good in this world, or having a job that you love, so like if you're working for a job that is not pure, or like a job that's like not doing more good in this world and it's just really corrupt, then I recommend finding hobbies that allow you to give back. It's crazy, I know, but your depression, your mindset, your purpose in life is going to be severely swayed if you're not able to do things that you truly love. It's just a fact. Now, you can probably get by for a little while, but at the end of the day, when you're like looking back on your life, you're going to say, wow, I spent my life doing things that I didn't love. And there's so many people that do things that they love and they're able to serve others while doing it. So if that is the case and you're able to do so and you're torn, should I take this job? It's less money, but I'll be happy. I'm not one to like tell you what to do, but I recommend looking at the opportunity that lets you be happy, lets you have time with your family, lets you serve others, lets you live in a loving, life-giving environment. So the next tip that goes along with being extraordinary, so now you have like a job that you love, or you're serving, or you're giving back, definitely extraordinary habits. The next tip that I have is to be on time. I know, it sucks. It's hard. It's stressful. It's draining. I struggle with this as well. But being on time is important. Whenever I'm on time, especially to like an important meeting, I have peace. It's like I can change my schedule, I can journal, I can write down what I need to do, I can plan how the meeting's gonna go, I can plan what I'm gonna do later. It's like all of those things that like I'm rushing to do, and then I show up and I'm just like not mentally there. Whenever I'm on time, I just have peace. I feel like a lot of times, this is my thought process. Sometimes I'm torn between do the last few minutes of the thing or stop midway and be on time. And I think that if I could go back, I would say just be on time. Because majority of the time, whenever I'm like, now it does vary, right? But majority of the time when I'm like, let me finish doing the thing and then I'll go, usually I regret it. I'm usually stressed, I'm usually overwhelmed, I usually just tell myself like, why didn't I just leave when I could have? Just work it on being on time, set alarms. I know everyone tells you guys this, set alarms, set like an alarm for the time that you need to leave, and then go forth and prosper. Because I'm telling you, being late just causes you to be overwhelmed. It is not a trait of someone who's exceptional. At least maybe in some cases it is. Like maybe there's some billionaire who's like, I've never been on time since I was 7 and whatever. But I'm telling you, by and large, most of the time, people who are on time, they tend to fare better because they have the time to mentally think and process things and they're not as stressed. Next tip that I have to be extraordinary, this may be a princess weakness thing, but it is know the location, the time, the outfit or uniform that you need for where you're going and confirm it a few times. And then once that's done, set an alarm in your phone, no matter what, so that you know all of those things and that it alerts you maybe like an hour or a day, whatever, like depending on the event, so that you have enough time to like flex and remind yourself at the last minute. I have to do this. Mind you, this is a journey of how I'm trying to be extraordinary and be a better version of myself. So do not get me wrong, I have not mastered this at all, but this is something that I know that when I do it, it helps me become extraordinary, and that's the goal. The goal is to strive to be better. I do this a lot more than I used to, and I have a lot less like missed meetings. The only thing that I will say is that when I was really busy and I would do a lot of scheduling, it would be kind of overwhelming because it was like, okay, I have this meeting and that meeting and I have this, and it was just so much. But now I've reached a point where I'm like, I kind of know what I'm doing, and I just have a little bit more control over like my schedule, and just it's not as overwhelming. Because when I had it, it was back to back to back. It was just way too much, and I would miss one meeting and then I automatically would miss the next meeting, and it was just like a downward spiral. So have enough gaps for like travel time or like worst case scenario, something happens. I recommend putting alerts in your phone is a must. If you have a planner, use a planner, but genuinely confirm those 3 things. For whatever reason, for me, locations always get me, times get me, days get me. I'll be like, I swear they said it was at 7 o'clock, and it's like, yeah, 7 o'clock 2 days ago. So that is something that I have to just be very careful about. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope this video helped you become a better version of yourself. I can do a little bit more practical tips in another video if that's something that you guys want to see. But thank you so much for watching. If this video was useful, please like it and consider subscribing. Have a wonderful day, and I hope you become the most extraordinary version of yourself and encourage others to do the same. Thank you. Bye.